Well, hello there, everybody.
Hi,
Hey, hey,
and we're back.
and we're back, and we're back. So, look, y'all, I drugged and asked my wonderful wife to join me again. I love to get her behind the camera. She doesn't like the camera that often, but hey, when you look like that, listen, you got to get on camera. You know, right? And I don't have to like con her into doing it and beg her. So I got her to come in because I wanna talk about the real negative word submission. Um, as you scroll up and down your timeline, you may see that there's a lot of battles going on with everybody in the world today. And it seems like you could start any, like, I really believe you could talk about any topic, just scroll down your timeline. And one topic has really been grinding my gears, if that's even a slogan, right? Is about how people always talk about how they refuse to be submissive. I'm talking about you women. How y'all talk about y'all refuse to be submissive. Um, I really don't understand why how that word has become such a negative. I really don't. And so that's why I brought my wife in, because I want to try to figure out why is that word such a negative nowadays. I don't know if it's a culture thing. I don't know if it's a generational thing or what. But it's almost like when you hear that word, the first thing you do is seems like y'all just be real negative and real quick to be like what you're not gonna do. And 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 I just a lot of times we ask ourselves, why the relationships don't last now, or why people are not the relationships not lasting, or people not trying. You leaving out such a big word, and then I highlighted it down there at the bottom. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just teamwork. I think we be so focused on what a word says and what we got to do and what we think that word means that we forget at the end of the day it's all about teamwork. So without further ado, I want to know why women are so afraid of the word submission, and why are they just dead set on not being submissive to their men nowadays.
So I can't speak on nowadays,
Okay.
but the word submissive itself, and I'm sure for most women, they just feel like it's kind of like you giving up all your rights. And like I just have to do and follow everything you say and what you want. It's like the first thing that I feel like come to our mind. Because at the beginning, you use that word and yeah, I'm like, no. Like, what you think this is? A dictatorship or something? No, sir. So
I,
I think that's like where our mind goes
and
when we
so
hear that word.
like that's the honest answer, because I really think that's the problem. I really think y'all get so far into your head that you think we think it's like that, and like we running around like, you know, bad reference, but we run around here like Hitler saying do this, this, and this, and this. And I don't really think that it feels that way. So with you, do you consider yourself submissive?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you feel like that's the first thing to come to your mind, why be submissive to me?
So over the years in our relationship and growing and wanting our relationship to work and being able to communicate and understand each other, like you just have to realize that it's not this like one all be all type of thing. The word submissive is, it really depends on the person that you're with, and y'all just kind of having a conversation about like what that really is or what y'all are really looking for and wanting in y'all relationship.
Okay.
And I feel like regardless of what anyone says, at some point in some kind of way, like they are submissive in their relationship.
Okay. And so, what's up, Angel? Let me get to that question. Well, I'm gonna get to that comment real quick. So, if you say it just depends on the situation, then why do you feel like you're comfortable being submissive towards me?
Well, at this point now, it's because, like me myself, I need like a man's man, and I feel like that's what you are. You're an alpha male. You're someone who can be in control and in charge, which is something that I like or that I would want in a partner. And so I feel like also that you're not finna lead our family into nothing that's just finna, mess up our situation or put us out on the streets or anything like that. So I feel like I can trust, the way that you lead us or the decisions that you make for our household. So
And so, just so y'all know, we don't rehearse nothing. We like Jay-Z with the outtakes. She gets so mad at me because I be like, there go to Prince. She get mad at me because I be like, yo, we just finna jump on there and we just freestyle it. Because I want to know her honest opinion. I don't never want to rehearse anything. I want her to be honest because it's hard for people to be honest nowadays because people feel like they got to say what they think people want to hear. So, that's the first time I really asked her that because I never really asked her. I didn't really care because my wife has like always been this submissive type of wife. But I never looked at it like she did exactly what I told her to do, vice versa. Because let me tell you, she don't do what I tell her to do at all, whatsoever. And that's why I feel like there's a misconception of what we think submissive means. Because I could just walk in here and be like, yo, wash these dishes. And she's just gonna stare at me. And she gonna get to the dishes when she feel like it. She not finna just get up and wash them in. And she may not even wash them till tomorrow. You see what I'm saying? But she gonna move when she wanna move. So I think we get behind what it sounds like or what we think it is. And so we think it's like when a man says, you do this, and then they got to go do this. And you do that, and then they got to run every time we say do that. That's not what it means. It's in the end, it's, like D Scant just said, it's about trust, right? So it's about, like she just mentioned, like she trusts me that I'm going to do my part. So there in turn, she does her part. And so that's one thing I love about her because she's very submissive. Like she leads it up. She'll leave it up to me to make the decisions. And any major decision that she comes across, she gonna run it by me first, no matter what. She gonna run it by me first. And she feel like I'm either gonna make a good decision or maybe she wants to hear another point of view. And my say ain't always final say. It's just let's talk together. And if I can come with a better solution or something that you feel like is going to work best for the family, then we'll rock with it. And usually that's kind of the case. So what bothers me is, a lot of times people say, you want to get, I'm about to get Tootie to come get you, man. Tootie Bear. So come get your brother. So give him some crackers. So anyway, what bothers me is when I see people talk about, I ain't going to be submissive until you be submissive. Like, you don't know what you're going to be. And why would you come into a relationship with that mentality? And mind you, this is for my married people. So this ain't for my relationship. Y'all been talking for like 3 weeks, 6 months. Like if y'all been talking over a year, okay, maybe. But like, this is more so conversation for my married folks because, a lot of times you get in a relationship and say, this is what I'm not going to do. And then you wonder how you still single, but it doesn't have nothing to do with what you're not going to do, because I agree with you. You should have a partner that's going to do both things and going to help you out in the household. But you shouldn't go into no relationship saying, I am not doing this. That's a red flag. Do it sound like a red flag? Because this is their red flag. I'm just like, whoa, we ain't even got started and you already telling me what you're not going to do unless you see me do this. Then if you see me do that, then you saying, then I'll be submissive. If I see you lead, then I'll do this. No, y'all have to work together on that. And that's one thing we had to do. We literally had to work together on that because we were bump heads. And I never entered this relationship saying, you have to do this and I want you to do that and I want you to be submissive. I'm going to be honest with you. I entered a relationship with the mentality of, let me be 50-50 or let me run this by you. Let me be like whatever. And it's hard for you to be an alpha male if you're in that mind frame. So I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like our relationship moved forward when I was more so taking charge. And then when I was more so leading, and I was more so leading by example. Because, you can go into a situation and be like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I'm gonna be honest with you, my wife's different. She'd be like, yo, I need you just to be a man and make a decision. And I'm gonna support you and rock with it. And so that was a hard transition for me because I was raised by a single parent mom, and I just wanted to be like, hey, I want to know what you feel. I want to know what you think. I want to know if this goes by you. And then a lot of times we wouldn't get nothing done because then I'm trying to, pass the buck to her, and she's like passing it back to me, wanting me to be more manly about it. And I'm just like, yo, why you not making no decision? And it's not like she didn't want to make a decision. It was more so she wanted to be led. And that's why I think, once again, the trust word comes in, because she felt more comfortable when I started leading. She was like, listen, this is your house. This is your family. Do your thing, and I'll support you. And when I tell you I got that in my head, it just really, I don't know, fast forwarded our relationship. And it was easy transitional. So it was easy for me to go in, make a decision, say, look, this is what's about to happen. How do you feel about that? She'll say, okay, I'm cool with it. Or she'll say, I'm not cool with it. And I say, okay, then we moving forward. And that's why I said I think the word teamwork is so needed, I guess. It's so necessary when you think about that. Because if y'all not willing to work together, and then you're just going to keep telling me what you're not going to do, and I'm going to keep telling you, well, I'm not going to be a man until you be more submissive, or I'm not going to be a leader until you mean that makes no sense, fellas. You have to go in and just say, you know what, this is my house, this is my family, take charge, and then your woman is going to have to support you in that. And when she supports you and feels that you are leading, she trusts you enough, she'll do anything you need her to do. So let me go to that one comment. What you say? Let me go to the one. Let me start with Angel first. I think it's more harder for a woman who is used to being independent to group the concept of being submissive. So listen, Angel.
That was me, by the way, Angel. Very independent.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what you talking about? What you saying to me? Like,
so,
bro, I don't know what you think this is. Like, what's going on?
And so listen, let me speak on that, Angel. So I think when you get in the mindset of, I've been rocking this way by myself and I've been making it work for myself for a while, how are you going to let that man be a man and lead you if you're not willing to give in and give in to yourself? Now, I get it. This is not one of those conversations where I'm saying submission means you need to wash the dishes every day. You need to clean every day. You need to do all this stuff by yourself. That don't happen in this house, and I don't expect it to happen in no house. But it does mean at some point you have to relinquish that independence. And we bumped heads. She's been by herself her whole life. And she had a son at an early age, and she rocked it with the help of her family. But she pretty much did her thing by herself. So when it came to a man coming into her life, I was like, yo, we need to get this done. You need to do this. And she was like, no, I ain't doing that. No, I ain't doing this. And I'm just like, okay, this ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work. Like, we either be able to work together, and this ain't gonna work. And so she was almost kind of throwing it in my court, like, well, if I do this, what you doing? And I'm like, you don't want to play that game with me, because I can get to the point where I do everything, and then I'll throw it back in your face and say, I'm doing everything, you're not doing nothing. Let me go, or it's time for me to leave, right? And like we talked about before in our relationship, we had like I said, the first year one, honeymoon year, because we're traveling and we're so excited. It was gorgeous, lovely. Year two, even lovely. And then 3 and 4, it was like, what are we doing? Then we was like, where's the exit? I want to go left, she want to go right. And we was almost cool with it. And it took that growth, and it took her for saying, you know what? I need to learn how to give in to my husband. At the same time, it took me, I need to learn how to lead better. Because it's not about, boom, here's the ring, we're married. We automatically know everything. Y'all have to understand, we are all young kids until we die, which means we are constantly learning. A child doesn't come out the womb knowing stuff. They learn their ABCs. Then they learn how to read. Then they learn how to walk, talk, drive a car, wreck a car. They still consistently learning. To think that you're an adult and you know everything, especially if you haven't been in a certain situation,
Experience, yeah.
especially if you haven't even been married, you're not gonna jump in there knowing that. We thought we could jump in there thinking that it was just as easy as say I do. I told somebody the other day, I feel like the way I feel about my wife now, I really, really, really feel like I didn't love her the first couple of years we were married. And I would think that was impossible for me to say because rewind, if you asked me did I love my wife when we first got married, I said I love her with all my heart. I love her more than anything. That's totally impossible because the way I feel about her now is nowhere near how I felt about her then. But guess what that was? That's just growth. That's learning. So we honestly had to learn how to love. We had to learn how to love each other. We had to learn how to trust each other. And a lot of times, y'all get so caught up with what you're not going to do. I'm not finna do this. I'm not finna do that. I've been doing this my whole life. I'm going to keep doing this because I know better. Sometimes, I don't want to speak on anybody's relationship, but sometimes you're going to have to step back and say, I've been rocking this mindset and it hasn't been working for me. Why would you keep rocking that mindset? Does that make sense? Like I've been thinking this way, and this is the way I'm gonna do it. And I know God gonna put somebody in my life. Now you can't depend on that. You can pray for that. But maybe God is waiting for you to better yourself before he puts somebody in there. Think about it. Why would he put somebody in your life and you're not even ready for that? So you can keep praying for it, thinking it's gonna happen just because you prayed for it. And he gonna keep chilling until you get yourself right, male or female. So you got to think about that. Just say, you know what? This is the way I've been doing things, and this is the way I'm going to do things. And if that hasn't gotten you results, you might have to switch it up. Would you say, D-Scan? Okay, she threw you the ball, and you said score. All right, you would you say, Max, take control? Angel, you say, I had to change my mindset and allow myself to fully trust him to make a decision. That's good. And like I just said before, like that's growth. That's growth. Like we got to get out of this. I know what I'm doing. Let's do it. Now that we're here, it's automatically going to work. It's not going to automatically work. I promise you it's not. I promise you it's not. I can't like I don't mind speaking about our relationship, but I cannot stress to you the line when it was divorce. And like I didn't have one foot out the door. I had 1 foot, half of a foot, half of a body. And I really had to stop, think about it, and ask myself if this is what I want. Because the first part of my life, I was used to doing that. I had commitment issues. So most men ain't gonna talk about that. I'll talk about that. I had commitment issues. So I was like, yo, this shit ain't working like I thought it was. She ain't loving me like I think she should. Let me hurry up and get out while I'm still young so I can go catch something else. That was my mindset. Then I had to stop and say, you know what? It ain't a real marriage if I don't really try. So a lot of times y'all get in situations and we get so used to, you know what? This ain't working. Let's end it. And I really think that's because we really don't got a heart in it in the beginning. And until you really fully commit and put your heart all the way in it, then you're willing to work that problem out because you will have problems. You will struggle. You will have issues. We have issues. It looks nice on the outside, and I can tell you it's way better than what it was. But we still have our issues just like any person because we're constantly learning. But guess what? One thing we have figured out is easier when you work together. Mm-hmm. It's way easier with the teamwork. I mentioned before how I had to expect my mama cooked 5 days a week because my grandma cooked 7 days a week. So I feel like I need to be fed 5 days a week. Tasha ain't cooking 5 days a week. I can get with it or I cannot get with it. I can be mad about it, or I can figure it out. So as submissive as she is, she's still not cooking 5 days a week. Submissive as she is, she ain't cleaning up every day. She gonna do it when she feel like it, and she gonna do it when she feel like it's necessary. She most definitely gonna do it when we got company coming over. And so, as a man, are you the type of man that you be like, well, you better do this because I'm doing all of this? Because I kind of was like that in the beginning. I'm making this amount of money. I'm making twice as much as you. I'm bringing in this money. I'm taking care of home. You need to do exactly as it was planned out. Whose plan is that? Y'all never stop to think about whose plan is that? Who made that? Who made the initial? This is what you're supposed to do. I know a lot of times we say, well, this is what our parents did.
You're not your parents.
You're not your parents. You do things differently. It's different times, and you have to adapt to the times. So I can't come in and expect because my mama cook all the time that she gonna cook all the time, and that's gonna be a hard no. Because for a man, if you single, that's probably why. Like if you feel like, you know, well, I got to find me a woman that's gonna cook 5 days a week. Bro, it ain't a lot of them, unless you're gonna get an older one. And when I mean old, I don't mean like way old. I'm just saying, like, if you're a young fella, you ain't finna get none your age.
You might get a chef or something. They like to cook.
You might get a chef, but the chef gonna make money. She ain't cooking for him every day unless he can get a plate after she cook. So you have to really adapt with the times. You have to adapt with yourselves. You can't say, well, my parents did this, so you need to do that. What you say, babe? You're not your parents, huh? You're not your parents. Because her mama could cook. I don't know what happened to her.
It's good too.
I don't know what happened. I'd be so mad. I'd be like, Mary Ann, you should have taught us something. So look, what you got? What you got, Jasmine? You know, I need to go ahead and post these too. My bad. Okay, hey y'all. Oh, I gotta go back and look at this. Me and my friend just had this conversation. Thanks, friend. Okay, Jazz. That ain't Ruth. Nephew, take a life coach class and get paid. Sounds good. I know it. They be telling me to get paid, but I my heart too big. I just feel like if I know it, somebody else needs to know it sometimes. And I need to monetize what I do, but I can't. Because I'm such a good kid. So look, well, I'll say, so why do you okay, so this is why I feel like relationships should be give and take. So a lot of times people be like, why do you let me go out, hang out with the fellas? And then they feel like you don't fuss about it, even though they don't know what happens behind closed doors. Mm-hmm. But why are you so comfortable with me going out hanging with the fellas?
Do I fuss about it?
You got something to say, slick, but you don't give me no hell. Why you don't give me no hell?
First of all, I feel like I knew who you were when I met you. And so you were an outgoing person. You like to be out, out with the crowd and hang out. That's not necessarily my scene. I'll do it. I'll hang out or whatever. But like I don't have to be out there type of thing. But that's just you. You're a big personality. You like being around people, conversating, stuff like that.
So why you not forcing me to be home with you though? Because we're married. I'm supposed to be home with you. Notice how everything I'm gonna quotate is, I don't know where y'all getting some of this stuff from, but think about it. I don't know where that rule came from, but since I'm married, that's a rule that the world says I'm supposed to be at home with you. Why are you not mad that I'm not at home with you, even though you know I'm outgoing?
Well, I never thought that you had to or supposed to have been home with me. That was never a thing of mine. Not only that, like I like my me time. So when you gone a lot, I enjoy myself.
Exactly. So that's why we say everything is relationship specific. And let me tell y'all, I really practiced to say that word, so I won't say it again because I feel like I nailed it. So you have to know your partner. If you're not willing to work with your partner, to understand your partner, that's going to be a problem. So as you date, if you see, and I'm not going to call some people clingy, but if you know that you got a partner that wants to spend a lot of time with you and real affection, that don't really want you to kind of hang out, you can see that in the beginning. And if you feel like there's going to be an issue, you need to communicate that before you get to start trying to
getting too deep.
Yeah. And if you don't communicate that, it's not. Give you an example. If she was like, I need you here, I need you here, and I didn't communicate with her, I just was like, yeah, my girl always want me, blah, blah, blah. And then I proposed to her, get married to her, and then she's still doing that, and I can't hang out with the boys, and I'm mad. I can't get mad and be like, this relationship, this marriage ain't working because you always want me here. You don't want to give me no time to fellas with the fellas. It's always been like that. If I didn't establish that from the beginning and talk about it, it's not her fault. It's my fault. And a lot of times we don't want to take ownership, male or female. We don't want to take ownership when we don't do a good job of communicating. So I would advise a lot of couples out there, y'all need to communicate. And I know y'all hear that all the time, and y'all say, well, we hear that all the time. You got to communicate. There's no way around it. If you have expectations of how you want the relationship to go, you got to talk about it. If you never talk about it, and then it becomes a problem, and then it continues to be a problem, it's not that person's fault because that's who they are. So if she was affectionate like that and needed me there, that's who she is. If I neglected to see that and talk about that, it's not her fault for her being hurt. But then we find a way to blame other people for the way that they are because we didn't do a good job of communicating with them, right? And it's not fair to the person. And so now all of a sudden you want out. Well, I want out because she won't give me my freedom. I'm a man's man. I need to be, you can't just make me do this. No. Young kings, that's your fault because you should have talked about it. You should have manned up and said, listen, is this going to be a problem before you got too deep? And that's when you can exit stage left. Won't be no feelings involved, won't be no whatever, because then she'll respect you more. Because she might say, yeah, you know what? I need my man at the house. If you're not going to do that, I need to find somebody that's going to do that. Instead of wasting each other's time, right? Mm-hmm. So Jasmine said, I think you may have already answered that, but if you feel like you can speak on it again, Jasmine said, was it easy for you to be submissive?
At the beginning, no. I mentioned earlier that I was very independent, came into a relationship very independent, wasn't looking for guidance from nobody tell me what I'm gonna do or what I need to do and all of that stuff like that. So it did take, honestly, like maybe the 2 or 3 years for me to be able to be like, okay, I want this relationship to work. I'm no longer by myself, have to worry about myself. Like, I do have somebody that I do have to answer to and communicate with. So through that time, I slowly began to be like, okay, I can trust him. We're going to make this work. I believe in him. I don't think that he's going to bring any kind of harm toward me or anything like that. So in thinking like that and wanting to work on the relationship, that is what kind of led me to start being more submissive.
Exactly. And that's why I would say it just all is gonna still evolve around teamwork and working together. And I'm gonna give you an example. Since we was talking about like me hitting the streets. So most people be like, Rob, I don't know what you're doing, but for you to be able to party like that and turn up like that and pop bottles like that and your wife ain't in your ear, I need to know the secret. And I still used to tell my friends, I'm not doing nothing special but taking care of home. So I'm going to give you an example of what I do before I go out on the weekend. And a lot of y'all don't do this. So this is free game, fellas. Free game. Better pay attention. Better get your notepad. Free game. You can cash at me if you want to, though. But listen. So y'all know I used to travel to Memphis a lot, kick it a lot, hang out with my friends, males and females. And every time before I got ready to go, I would always ask her, do she want to come? And she would say what?
No.
She would say no. And I'm going to tell you why she said no.
I'm good.
I'm going to tell you why she said no. So before I would leave, I wouldn't just leave. A lot of y'all would just leave and go hang out with the fellas. Am I right or wrong? I'm right. Before I would leave, we had 2 kids at the time. I would say, this is what I would do. I would call my mom. I would say, hey, Mom, I'm going to be in West Tennessee this weekend. Do you mind watching the kids? So I would take the kids to my mom's house for the weekend. Why would I do that? If I'm out having a good time and she's back maintaining the house, dealing with the kids, she's more likely to be upset when I get back because she's more likely to be stressed out. She's had a long work week. And now here the weekend hits. And now she's dealing with 2 toddlers because we back to back them kids. And here I am taking pictures like paparazzi, right? Popping bottles, like whatever. What type of attitude do you think I'm going to come home to? So guess what I do? I call my mom, say, hey, mom, can you watch the kids? I take the kids with me. So when I leave for the weekend and have a good time, she's at the house relaxing, having a good time. So I've learned how to think outside the box and say, this weekend is, I'm not going to just enjoy this weekend by myself. She's going to enjoy the weekend because she rather stay at home. So she started giving me a lot of no's because she already knew I was going to take the kids with me. And since I was finna take the kids with me, she probably planned out how she finna kick it, how she finna lay around, how she ain't finna do nothing. Probably ain't even took no bath, none of the above. She just finna be lazy. And that is A-okay because she holds down the fort Monday through Friday. So she deserves a weekend off, right? The best way you can give a weekend off if you was gonna hang out is make sure you take care of the house. So I would set everything up. I would leave. If the kids were to stay, I would, give them money. Just say, hey, look, this is what you do. I would clean the house up. Like, give you an example right now, you know what I'm saying? Even if I leave right now and hang out, go out of town for the weekend, I'm going to clean the whole house by myself. I'm taking out all the trash. I'm getting everything in line. I want, from when I walk out the house, I don't want her to have to do nothing. That's my mentality. And she sees that and she appreciates that. So now when I leave, she don't have to wash the dishes. So just imagine if I'm gone, she washing dishes. I can't believe he out taking pictures and I'm sitting here cleaning up the house. You best believe when I come home, it's going to be like that. So when I do get home, it's not I'm home, I'm exhausted, I had a wonderful weekend. When I get home, I still make sure I maintain the house. So now I done took the kids away, gave her a break. If I get back on a Sunday, me and the kids be back. Who cooking? You or me?
I'm a cook.
She lying.
No, it's gonna already be done.
No, she lying.
It's gonna
She's
already
studying.
be done.
She's studying. She's studying. When I was going out, who was coming back Sunday? Maintain that food.
You cooked.
Okay.
But I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm there by myself, so.
Okay. Yeah, she cooked the Friday and Saturday. So when I get back in town, I will come back, and if I didn't cook, we'd take the family out and we go out to eat, right? So there was one less thing she had to do. So that entire weekend, even when I got back, she still didn't have to do nothing. You see what I'm saying? So fellas, y'all got to think outside the box. If you don't want to come home to a whole bunch of fussing, then take care of home before you leave. And then when you get back, if you had a great time, continue to take care of home. It's still a weekend. And so I would come back. She would get excited. She liked to hang out. She is very, 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 very family oriented. So she loves to go to the park with the kids, walk to the park. So I would come back. I would plan for something for us to do as soon as we got back. I would never get back and say, let me go sleep the rest of the day. That's an issue. It could lead to an issue. So I did that. I get ahead of that before that even happens. So I'd be like, yo, when I get back, I always come back early. So when I get back in town, we're going to go to the park with the kids. We're going to hang out a little bit. Then we probably go by Texas Roadhouse or something because the kids love the rolls. She loves the rolls. And then we just hang out. And now she ain't got to cook, clean, to eat. And she had a good rested weekend. Now she's ready for Monday to go back to work to do her thing. Teamwork. If I'm going to act like that and I'm going to lead like that, then guess what I get? I get a submissive wife. And she don't have to be submissive to where she's taking orders and I'm barking orders. It's a submission based on the relationship. And that's what I think we need to generalize. We need to generalize the submission ain't being submissive to your partner. I believe it's being submissive to the relationship. Y'all think about that. I need to coin that. Submissive to the relationship. Because she doesn't do what she does to please me. She does what she needs to do for the relationship. In the end result, it pleases me. So it's not for me, it's for us. And since it's for us, it pleases both of us. And so when I tell guys all the time, like, it's nothing for you to help out your wife around the house. But ladies, if you're gonna say I'm a new age independent woman, I ain't cooking and cleaning every day, that's a red flag. I'm out. A lot of these fellas are out. They not finna put up with it. They not finna deal with it. If that's your mentality, if that's your negative ideology, they out. So get in a relationship and talk to your male and say, hey, look, I don't mind doing this, but guess what? I'm going to need help. If you want me to hold down this house, I'm going to need help. Because this is what I can't understand. Women say, I ain't cooking and cleaning because I work 40 hours just like you. All right, let's remove the man out the house. And let's say you already got some kids. 9 times out of 10 you do.
It don't have to be kids. It's just themselves.
Okay, just themselves. But let's just say the kids. I'm going to put the kids in there because a lot of y'all like got kids. So if we remove the man out the house and you work 40 hours, what you doing? Are the kids starving?
No.
The kids ain't starving, y'all. You cooking and cleaning anyway. So why do you care to tell a man what you're not going to do when the man enters the home when he's on the outside of the house watching you do what? And when you're dating? Damn, she cooking every day.
Let me ask you this, though. Do men really expect for a woman or their woman to cook every day like that?
You said what now?
Do men really expect for a woman to cook every day like that?
Most of the time we do.
Not necessarily. I mean, I guess it could be a full course meal, but not necessarily a full course meal, but just making sure that they eat.
So like, we don't really expect that, but we feel like, here's the thing. Most women will never admit this. When we're in dating stages, what are y'all doing? Be honest. Y'all putting on the show, ain't y'all? Tell the truth.
We've sent a representative out there.
Hey, y'all hear that? She coined that phrase. She said, y'all sending a representative out there. So that may not be the true her, but that's a representative her for her, right? So y'all heard it first now. So think about that. In the beginning, y'all cooking and cleaning. We watching that. So if we come by and visit, even if you nasty, every time we come by, the house gonna be what? The house gonna be clean. So in our head, man, she clean the house all the time. Boy, this house spotless. You may have just cleaned it up that day. Yeah. But what do we think? That house spotless. So
it's y'all fault though.
I know it. I said that. You can blame us. And so we see a spotless house. We see the kids doing what they supposed to be doing because you probably threatened them and said, you better act right. And then we see that food cook because you're trying to get a man and a mate and you're saying to yourself, I can't represent myself in a bad way. You don't want to represent yourself with a nasty house and you don't want to represent yourself not to be feeding your kids. Kids run around here hungry. So we mentally think that, oh, she cooking and cleaning every day. She sent a representative of herself. So when we get in that relationship and now we put the ring on the finger, why do you instantly think that you can tell me what you're not going to do every day because you work just as many hours as I work? I just watched you do all of that. So why do you think it's okay to say that? Why do you think it's okay for women to say that?
I think they say that because within getting in a relationship, like you're supposed to help make that easier.
Boom. Teamwork. So when you get in a relationship, women automatically assume that you're here with me. This is for the men's now, for the fellas. That you married me, you asked me to wed you, you asked me to be your wife. Why would you come into this situation and think that all you got to do is just bring your money and you don't have to bring your time, affection, love, and help? And that's foolish. That's foolish for all the men to think. Like, I get it. You saw the representation of your partner while you were dating. But if you think that you're going to get married and you're not going to do nothing, that's dumb. Like, it's not going to work. It's not going to work.
And there are men out there that don't contribute to anything. Mm-hmm. They're just there like a body.
Yeah. And that's true. Because most men, like I told you, we think that because we married you, we bring in the money, we bring in the alpha maleness, that you need to be the woman. And we automatically think that the house is the woman's duties, just like our parents. But guess what? We're not.
Our parents.
We're not our parents. So you got to get out of that mindset. There never was a rule to this. Our parents done it first. You know why? Because they was before us. Their parents done it first. So whatever their parents did, they did it because they had to.
That was our example. And so it's up to us to say, hey, well, this is my life. This is how I want to do A, B, and C. And this is what I'm not going to bring into, my relationship. So your parents is just a guide, I say.
Just a guide. They can show you the blueprint, but you're finna have a totally different foundation. There's no reason to follow the same foundation. Yes, it may have worked. Your parents might have been married for 60 years. But I promise you that took a lot of patience. You can't go into that situation and say, I'm not going to be patient. And a lot of times, y'all end it before it starts because y'all tell each other what y'all not going to do. Well, I ain't giving you no ring until you be submissive. Well, I'm not going to be submissive until you give me a ring. Okay. Y'all need to find somebody else because it ain't going to work. I'm here to tell you that. So look, let's run through some questions real quick and then we'll let y'all slide. All right. So Jasmine said, when either one of you go out of town, do you call each other often? So look, this is finna be real funny. A lot of times, look, she already laughed. A lot of times my wife is the male of the relationship sometimes, and I'm the female. So I go out of town, once again, assuming that she wants me to check in. But my wife wants her private time and her time. So I go out of town FaceTiming her or trying to call her. She never answers the phone. So I'm slick out of town livid because she ain't answering the phone. So I could be like, okay, what's she doing and who's she doing it with? But I know my wife, right? And I just say, you know what? I come home, I fuss about it. I be mad. I ain't gonna lie, I be mad as hell. I be like, look, why you answer your phone? And I put up a big fuss in the fight. But a lot of times, we know I'm a little sneaky. So what I do is I fuss at her just so if she has an issue with me for whatever reason, I'm gonna bring up the fact, well, you didn't answer your phone. But at the end, listen. But at the end of the day, ain't no reason for her not to answer her phone when her man calls. So I don't know what's going on with her.
I answer.
No, you don't. You don't answer.
If it's beside me.
So like I don't really believe that you should check in and call in often. I believe you should always call when you get there. Let them know you made it safe. I feel like there's nothing wrong with letting your partner know what's the activities for tonight. I don't have a problem with calling her, telling her what we doing. So when I used to go and kick it with D-Mans for his birthday, I would say, yo, this is what we doing. D gonna have a house party. We're gonna be kicking it, yada yada. Tomorrow we probably gonna hit the club. I don't have a problem in it. And a lot of times we try to be secretive and be like, well, I don't want to tell her because I don't want her to think, well, who are all these women gonna be at the house? If she was gonna have a problem with that, then she should have said no, right? So it's no problem in talking it out. And ladies, if you're gonna have a problem with trying to check up on your man when he's out of town, then you should have said, I have a problem with you going. And that evolves around the communication.
And that's my thing too with that. Like, if I feel like I'm gonna have to be checking up on you or having a problem with you going somewhere by yourself, like, that's just not what I do. Like, that's just not my personality. So if I'm gonna have to do all of that, then I'm just not gonna be with you.
Exactly.
So,
and I think that's key. Tasha, for all the struggles that we had in our relationship in the beginning, one thing I will say, she knew who she was and she stood behind who she was and what she believes in. So the rest was her trying to learn how to be with somebody else, learn how to love somebody else. But it never once stopped what she believed was her integrity. And she was the type of person that if I got to call you to run behind you, to find you, to be like whatever, it just ain't going to work anyway. So I need to find somebody that's going to sit down, and that's knowing your partner. So like, once again, if you're that type of individual, you don't marry no Robert Lee, because like Robert Lee like to hang out with the fellas. So if you're the type that's going to be calling and doing all of that, what'd you say, D-Scant? Oh, yeah. Yeah, they be putting on the show. Yeah, you talk. Yeah, they be putting on the show, D-Scant. Because look, he said y'all be cooking anyway. So look, I agree. They be putting on the show. They representation of who they are is
but that's
massive.
Just letting you know what we can do.
I understand, and I'm not upset with that. Because our representation, sometimes we be representing too hard and we be kind of lying at the same time. So fellas, y'all need to cut that shit out. If you ain't the type to be opening up doors and be doing all of this, like, don't be trying to do it in the beginning if you're not going to continuously do it. because it's going to be you created an expectation.
That's yeah. And with that too, ladies,
Okay.
if that's something that you
Oh,
if that's something that you expect or want in your relationship, make sure you let that be known up front. So
okay.
they'll know. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
So
anything like that, pumping your gas or opening your doors, whatever the case may be, if that's an expectation of yours, make sure you set that up front so they'll
so
know.
so what did I do? Tell me something that I might have did that I did in the beginning and I didn't do in the relationship, and you was like, you changed, and then you felt like, oh, you need to go back to that. If you can think of something that you feel like you had to communicate with me about.
You know you can't put me on the spot with stuff like that.
I
I
know,
gotta
right?
think about it.
It could be some. It could be even if it was negative,
But
like
just
the
talk.
joking.
Just go ahead. Something might pop up in
So
my
it might
head.
pop up.
Yeah.
But
I
okay,
gotta think about it.
she got to think about it. All right, what'd you say? Yeah. So it is all about breaking the generational curse, Jazz. So it's like we say that so loosely a lot of times, and then we don't really act on that. And it literally is about doing something different and then figuring it out versus not making it work or not letting it work. We're too quick to not. I just really, I'm gonna keep harping on this. We're so fast to say what we're not gonna do. We're so fast to say what you need to do, what you need to do, that we don't listen to each other. So we spend so much time telling each other how we're gonna act and how we're gonna respond and how we're not gonna do this, that we don't actually get a chance to listen to each other. And if you're not listening to each other, if you're not communicating, it's not gonna work. It is not gonna work. You might as well either figure it out or you either separate. Like, because if not, then you're just gonna waste each other's time, and then you're gonna be resentful, then you're gonna be hateful, then it's gonna lead to like a lot of other stuff. It's just a rabbit hole that you don't want to go down. Um, a lot of things, like we said before, didn't change with us until we, started to communicate. A lot of things didn't change till she started to give in, and until she started to be submissive. But I will always say, uh, nowadays when I read this, listen to this, and see people argue about it on social media or whatever the case may be, I just feel like y'all got the real true definition wrong. And I don't know if y'all reading the Webster definition or what. I just really think we got a negative connotation of what we believe that it may be, when it really is not that. It really isn't. It's not being submissive to your partner. It really is being submissive to the relationship. It's being submissive to teamwork, being submissive to making it work. Because as much as she's submissive to me, I feel like I'm submissive to her, because I used to run around when she didn't clean up. Like my mom taught me, clean as you cook. I'm real big on that. So while I'm cooking, I'm washing this pot out because I'm done with this. So I know I already put it in the bowl that's gonna be put up the Tupperware, and I'm gonna wash that bad boy out at the same time. Tasha don't do that. So if she cook, them dishes might sit there, and they might sit there tonight, and then they might not till the morning. And so that was a problem. So guess what I used to do? I used to be like, yo, why you ain't doing this? And be mad about it after the fact, right? And I'm gonna tell you something that I love about her. I used to yell, raise my voice, and she deemed all that to be unnecessary. And the crazy part about it is, I thought that that's what it would take for her to understand what I'm saying. The louder I yell, the more she understand, right? So when I go around saying, well, you need to be doing this because this is how my mom did it and this is how it should be done, I didn't give any kind of leeway to say, how would you like this to do it, or how do you do things? It was just, you need to do it this way. And that was part of the reason why we struggled so much in the beginning. And when I start communicating with her, just saying, hey, look, Tasha, I really don't want to go to bed with these dishes looking like this. I'll help you clean up the kitchen. Now, that may have been a reverse psychology on her part to say, if he just gonna think I'm gonna do it by myself, I ain't doing it till tomorrow. But if he willing to help me, we can do it tonight. So guess what? I learned how not to yell at my wife. I learned how not to be mad at her. And then I learned how to communicate. And it took a while. So by doing that, I cook and then clean at the same time. So guess what? If she's cooking Instead of me having the expectation that she needs to clean when she gets done right now, and I know that I want it to be done, guess who go in and clean while she cooking? This guy. That's me being submissive to her. But once again, it's being submissive to the relationship because I want it to work. It's not doing it because I know she not gonna do it. It's doing it because I know that it needs to happen. It's doing it because I want it to be done. So why not get up off my butt? Because like you women say, well, I work 40, you work 40. So why not get up and just let me bust these suds while she over the hot stove? That's how it works. There's no other way around it. And a lot of times, like she said, a lot of men get in a situation and say, yo, it's your job to do this, this, and this. And if I come, anytime I've ever came to her like that, did I get anything done?
Backfire.
Anytime I came. So for a very, very, very submissive woman right here, anytime I demanded what should be done and how it needs to be done, it never got done. But
one thing you're gonna do, you're gonna talk to me, right? Okay.
But once I realized that once shit getting done, I had a choice. I could leave and continue to do what I've been doing my whole life and not commit, or I could stay and try to work it out and it not be her fault. Because I can blame her and say, well, I'm finna leave and it's your fault because you not doing this. Is it really her fault? Or is it really my expectation that I never really communicated to her to begin with? See, a lot of times we're not holding ourselves accountable. So now I have an expectation that I feel like she should adhere to. I don't talk to her about it. I just yell at her about it. And now she put up every shield that she can put up. And we bumping heads like bulls, rams. Well, all I had to do was just say, hey, babe, I really don't like to go to bed with the dishes, like the kitchen not clean. I know it's just a quirk of mine, but it is what it is. And then she could say, hey, babe, I'm gonna do my best. And when I come to her like that, she might do it all by herself. But it took me just to talk to her and just kind of have that conversation. But at the same time, if I'm not doing anything, fellas, why y'all just can't get up and help? Oh my God. A lot of times y'all will save yourself so much headache if you just get up and help. So if she cooking and cleaning and the kids running around, run around with the kids. What does that look like when I'm running around with the kids? How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel good because a lot of times, you always have to multitask being a mom or a parent. And so if I am cooking, then somebody probably needs something or wants something or fighting or whatever the case may be. So if he's doing that, then it's like a big relief because I'm just blocking all of that out. And then I can just concentrate on what I'm doing. So I appreciate it.
So if I'm sitting down watching TV while the little baby is tugging on your arm and your leg because he wants some milk while you trying to cook, and you look over there while I'm sitting down, what are you thinking about me?
Cutting your head off.
Fellas.
With the evil eyes.
With the evil eyes. Fellas, I'm dropping y'all. I'm trying to help y'all out. This ain't just with her. She is literally looking at me like, click to the next comment. She is literally looking at me like, why is he not helping? So now guess who's mad? She is. Just click show. So now she's upset with me. So guess what's not about to happen later on tonight when the kids go to bed, when everybody go to bed, and I got this expectation of that my manly duties need to be fulfilled. What's not going to happen?
Yeah,
Nothing.
Snores. Back to you.
So look, but guess who's mad? Me. See, fellas, we don't even think outside the box. We'll say, man, once you get married, man, the sex is going downhill. Well, you know why? Because y'all not helping. You know why? Because they really are tired. And I'm here to tell you, fellas, they are really tired. And the reason why I know that is I've been working from home ever since 2020. And even sometimes when the baby was sick and I had to keep him from home from daycare and I had to still try to cook, I'd be exhausted. And I don't even want to touch her. And the whole time I said, you know what? I used to always be mad, like, why we ain't having sex? And now I see why. I'm like, she really do be tired. Now, granted, my wife is a little extra lazy. She like her sleep, but she really do be tired. And I do understand that now. And so a lot of times, men, you get in that situation, and the first thing you do is you need to do all of this, and then you better have some energy for when we get in that bedroom. Why? Why do you feel that way? Let me tell you something without trying to tell you a lot. Let me tell you something. I'm trying to tell you a lot. We would hit some dry spells, and I don't want to put my business out there, but we hit some dry spells. I'm talking like dry spells, like full moon dry spells. And I would be frustrated. Oh my God, sexually frustrated. When I started helping out in the kitchen, when I started helping out with the kids, it was a total 360. You know why? Because she had more energy. And even if she didn't have more energy, what did you have?
Appreciation.
Appreciation for what was being done. So now, even if she may have been tired some of those nights anyway, she was more advantageous to say, let me satisfy my husband because my husband helped out today. He did his thing today. I really appreciate what he did. Let me tuck him in.
Night, night.
Night, night.
Never mind.
So, night, night, nigga. So, we don't think about that because we complain. We mad. It should happen. It needs to happen. This. I gave you this ring. I gave you this. I'm making this money. You need to be doing this. And we don't understand that she really is tired. And we don't understand that just a little help will go a long way, fellas. And with my wife, honestly, it's just really with the kids. She really don't mind to cook. If we make a plan to cook, she'll cook. She'll cook whenever. Like, she does depend on me to do a lot of cooking, but if we buy the food for us to be like whatever, she don't mind it because she likes to cook and she loves to eat. She loves to eat. Don't get it twisted. She loves to eat. But really with her, I saw and understood my wife through communication that if I just play with the kids while she doing her thing, then she got a lot of energy because now she's not worn down and frustrated. Fellas, why you not playing with the kids anyway? Ain't them your kids? And if they ain't your kids, and you got married, they what? Your kids. So they still your kids. So if you came home, I know you work hard, but man, if you got to be a role model and you want to be that father figure, that whatever, that father figure to daddy's girl or that father figure to the young prince, you need to be in there spending time with your kids anyway. And I promise you, women are so protective over their kids that, because even though it's y'all kids now, they're so protective that when they see that you doing what you're supposed to do, fellas, it just gives some type of like feeling deep down inside. So even when she see me playing with the little one, she just like, look at my man playing with his son, blah, blah, blah.
Bonding.
And she just loves to see that bonding. And then that releases some kind of euphoric reaction that's going to help out later on, right? I'm telling y'all, this is simple math. Listen, so happy wife is not true. Speak on this quote. So happy wife, happy life. So what do you mean, D-Scan? So it's a true quote. It's a true quote.
But I think it's still more of us as a couple, though.
Yeah.
Like just being able to work together to create this happy life.
Yeah. So. And I think it's true to the fact of what makes her happy, right? So you got to feel like you got to communicate to find out what makes her happy. Once again, for my wife, it was just help me help us, and don't order me around. It was just that simple. She did way more work around the house when I communicated my expectations, and that in turn, she appreciated that, and that made her happy. So we were happy. So I think it still does stick, but I just don't think it sticks. Sometimes when we see that happy wife, happy life quote, we see that because we're like,
and it's like ignore the man too, like, and what he feeling and all that stuff.
And it's like we feel like we just gotta give in to what she wants. Mm-hmm. It's not a give in. It honestly is not a give in to what she wants. It's figure out what makes her happy, and then you figure out what's going to make you guys work, right? So look, let's catch up a little bit because we just started running off. Oh yeah, yeah, look, listen. If you put it together, we'll do it. Cause I'll talk for days. So if you organize it, we can get a couples retreat for sure. When all you help, I'll be trying to say when all you had to do was help. Look at that. Yeah, you're right. None of that. Hola. She felt like you actually could. Yep, exactly. And it mattered. And sometimes that's all it takes for women. Like fellas, we just going about, we always go about it the wrong way. Like you got to understand that your woman is going to represent some type of super affection, super love. If you figure out how to meet her halfway with that, then small things that you do, they're gonna love you forever for it. And it don't have to be material shit. It literally could be a, hey, I got it this weekend. Kick your feet up. I'm cooking or buying it.
Especially when it's unexpected.
And it,
Okay.
exactly. And it's like, yo, like you don't understand how that's gonna help things out and how that's gonna trigger once again them euphoric reactions that you can cash in on, fellas. You got to trigger the euphoric reactions. You got to be able to cash in. You can't be mad about what's not going on if you're not helping out. All right, what'd you say? Yeah, night night. Yeah, it does. It really does. Submit to each other. And I really think once again we get away from that thinking that we got to the women are just the only people that have to submit. You're not submitting to your partner like that. You're submitting to the relationship and you're submitting to each other. And you're working on it. Because if you don't work on it, it's not going to get better. It didn't for us. So look, I really feel like it most definitely, it's always kind of been one-sided with our culture. But I feel like it's one-sided because we want it to be one-sided. Because once again, we saw TV or our parents or our grandparents do it this way when we automatically said they were married for 30 years. They did it this way. You need to do it this way. And who are we not?
Our parents.
We're not our parents. Mm-hmm. We have to understand we're not our parents. It's okay to use that model and that blueprint for your foundation. But these are different times. And a lot of times, a lot of those women, I'm not saying a lot of those women didn't work, but a lot of those women chose not to work because they had to take care of the house, because there were several kids involved. Like when you're thinking about taking care of 3, 4, and 5 kids, there really was no time for the woman to work. Honestly, it wasn't like they didn't want to, because Black women always been strong. I'm here to tell you that. Just to even hold down the house while the man works, that's damn near the strongest thing that you could ever do. But I never looked at it like back then when a woman was being submissive and she was kind of holding down the house, that she was less than of a man. And the man was just the end all be all. She ran everything, even from that role of not working. She ran everything behind closed doors and she kept the house in order. When that man come home and be mad at the other man, that side of the man, when he come home and be mad, fussing, who was there to comfort him, to keep him motivated, keep him pushing? That takes a lot. And a lot of times we look at it like that could be a negative. That's not a negative. That's a positive. But it's okay to have that mentality to say, you know what, you see how they've done it, and you can use that as a blueprint. But you have to learn each other. You have to talk to each other. You have to communicate with each other. Because if you're not willing to do that, then it's not going to work.
And I think also to go along with that is that I know it's kind of like a big thing now, but as far as a woman being able to take care of the household like that, even if she is working, just like the mental aspect of it. And I think that's kind of more of, a thing that people are talking about now. And just being able to have that self-care is real important.
Yes.
Right now too. So just being able to communicate with your partner about those type of things, I think that's helped, and that's why it's changed with the culture what it used to be.
And so, like she just said, and I'm glad you brought that up. Like, you really have to communicate that. My wife is not a talker, and she didn't communicate in the relationship at all whatsoever. And it took a while for her to start communicating. But a lot of times she would need a break and wouldn't tell me she need a break. And I can't read her mind and I can't assume. And so I got accustomed thinking my wife is superwoman. She got it. She got it. She got it. When a lot of times she was like, I really need help. I don't have it. And I need you to help me out and give me a break. So when she would get frustrated and things were probably not happening in the bed or not happening somewhere else, or she just got an attitude, I didn't talk to see why she got an attitude. I just automatically like, damn, why you got an attitude? And then you get that black woman always got an attitude stereotype, right? When the whole time I never even tried to communicate with her to figure out what was going on. So when I started talking to her, I started telling her, look, you got to let me know these things. I can't mind read. And I say, if you tell me, I will help out. I don't know what situation do women or men think that if you don't tell your partner something that you need help, that they wouldn't help you out. Y'all have to think about that. A lot of times y'all don't say anything, and then you assume that they're supposed to know what's going on in your mind, and then you don't want to talk about it. And then it's their fault because they don't help you out. Yes, they should be able to identify that help needs to happen. But sometimes, especially in my case, I'm used to doing everything. You know what I'm saying? And not just saying everything around here. I'm used to being that person that does everything. And a lot of times I get frustrated and be like, damn, why she ain't helping me out? Why I don't ask her? I need to let her know. I need to communicate. I say, look, I done had a long day at work. This ain't gonna work today. Like, can you do this? Can you do this? Anytime I've ever came to her and said something, it got done when she saw that. And that helps your mental. That helps your mental health. And the same thing for women. You do need a break from time to time. But why would you get mad and complain about what your husband is not doing to your best friend and about how he not helping out, instead of just saying, hey, babe, it's been a rough week for me. Can you get the kids and y'all kind of go to the park and just give me like an hour with nobody? I'm finna run me some bath water. I just need y'all to disappear. I love y'all. I just need y'all to disappear. Give me an hour. Like, women, it's okay to ask that. It's okay to say, give me a break. But it's not okay to get mad when you don't get the break and you ain't set no expectation or you communicated what you need. Like, that's at that point, it's your fault. I know you're gonna say it's their fault for them not knowing, but it's not. They not mind readers. We're not mind readers, and you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be mind readers, and I should. And yes, you're right. A woman is a reflection of you and will multiply whatever you give her. I agree with that 100%, because women are always, by law of nature, nurturers. And so they're always going to be willing to do whatever needs to do or whatever needs to get done, as long as you support them and you let them know, hey, listen, I'm here for you. I just need you to be here for me. Because you don't really have to ask a woman to be there for you, as long as you holding it down like you're supposed to as a real man. It's just going to happen by nature. But if you're not helping and you're not helping out and you fussing and yelling and then you're always gone, you're not going to get what you want, fellas. And a relationship not going to last. Yeah, you ready to buy? Okay, we're gonna have to put the little in the bed, y'all. Let me run through these last little comments and then we out. Give a woman a house and she will make it a home. That's a fact. That is a fact. Hey, it says Facebook user, so I don't know who this is, but you funny like me. So I won't be able to see who name this is, because some people I can see their name, some people I can't. And she will give you hell. See, listen, look, you know it. Okay, now we're biblical. Proverbs 31 woman in the Bible did everything, including earning money. She was an entrepreneur, even while taking care of the family. And see, a lot of time, and that is transition to a lot of women. Like, we have a lot of independent women nowadays, and it's okay to be independent. It's okay to boss up, but don't get too boss to where you don't allow your man to be a man. One thing I will say about my wife, she allows me to be a man. And like I told you before in the beginning of this, an hour ago, I came in with the wrong mentality of, hey, let's do this together, which is not a bad thing. The communication part, and you want to work together. But I didn't come in with the mentality of being head of the household. And when I realized that, and then she allowed that, she still allows it to happen. So there are certain things that she still allows to happen. And she says, you know what, I put my faith and my trust in my man. So go do your thing. And now when I see that, and I appreciate that, it gives me more energy to say, you know what, I got to make this work. I got to figure this out because she depending on me. Versus us butting heads and she being too alpha of a female. Because ladies, sometimes y'all got to tone that down. I'm just going to be honest. You got to tone it down. I'm not saying not be who you are. I'm not saying not be a strong woman. I want you to be strong. I want you to hold the house down. I want you to be, they rock. I want y'all to be a power couple together. But a lot of times you get that mentality like, I'm so strong, I'm so independent. In order for us to be a power couple, I need to be at the top. It's not about who's at the top. It's about if you trust him, then let him lead. And then by him leading, he will allow you to support him and be right there with him. Because there's no different levels of things with me and Tasha. Like, I don't look at her and say, it's my way or the highway, or it's, I'm above her. I look at it like I'm a man. I need to lead. Allow me to lead, and I'm going to lead us in the right direction. But I most definitely let her know I need her support. I cannot do this by myself, period. I can't do it by myself. I can be the strongest leader that I want, but I need her support. You know why? Because I'm human. And when I had that 9-to-5 job, I'm not going to lie, the man wore me out. And I needed somebody to come home and comfort me. I needed somebody to come home and tell me that it was going to be all right. I needed somebody to come home and tell me that, listen, I know it's hard right now. Just keep going until you figure it out, until God show us something different. And God showed us something different, and we was able to transition. I couldn't do none of what I do without the support of my wife. Hit that right button. That boy went to bed. Oh, it's Rika. Okay. I don't know why I say Facebook user, Rika. I don't know why I don't say your name. I won't see it say your name until tomorrow. Explain what you mean by allowing you to be a man. All right. So look, I said this before, but I'm gonna answer this question and then we out for real.
You been just leading though, right?
So you want me to explain by allowing you to be a man. So imagine like if we have a decision that needs to be made. My woman and my wife, she could make a decision. And she could say, you know what? We need to do this. But a lot of times she would put the ball in my court and allow me to make that decision. So for some men need to see that, because that's a sense of I'm getting things done in the household. And some men need that. They need that for encouragement for themselves. They need that to know that they're doing the right thing. They need to know that they're leading. Well, if you're always, hey, don't forget to do this. And why are you doing that? And why are you doing this? And you need to do it this way. This way it'll work better. Well, then that type of woman need to be by herself. Because if you're not going to work together, and if you're not going to allow me to lead, guess what you can't complain about? Not having no alpha man to be submissive to. Because a lot of y'all women will say that. Well, I won't be submissive until you show me that you can lead. Well, if you don't never let me lead, and you always telling me what I need to do, and always telling me this, and always telling me that, and you're not giving me the opportunity, then how will we ever know, right? So you have to allow me to be a man. You have to allow me to make the decision, regardless if you feel like it'll go the way. If you want to talk about it, we can talk about it. If you want to communicate it, we could communicate about it. But if you're just going to be like, it's not going to work. And I'm not going to feel like a man. I'm not going to feel masculine. I'm just going to feel like you just bossing me around. And I'm going to look for somebody that's going to allow me to be able to be myself. And a lot of times women think, well, when a man leaves you because of that, oh, well, he just really wants to go get a girl he could boss around. Not necessarily. He might have just left because he didn't want to be bossed around. And this is what I can't understand for the life of me. Women are so quick to say, well, you can't tell me what to do. Like my wife, you can't tell me what to do. You can't do this. You can't boss. You can't tell me that I need to cook and clean. You can't do this, yada yada. But in the same breath, will be bossing that man around. Please make that make sense, right? That doesn't make any sense. How can you tell somebody what they can't tell you what to do, and then in the same breath, you be telling him what he needs to do? That doesn't make any sense. And we got to cut it out. Both ways, we got to cut it out. And if you're not going to listen and you're not going to talk and you're not going to trust each other, you might need to find somebody else. But don't be mad if they find somebody else. Oh, yeah, he's doing good. He is doing good. Get on camera, Bubby, so we can say bye. I'm gonna show you, Jazz. I agree. So look, come on, say bye-bye. Oh, well, then well, guess what? Guess who shouldn't have got on camera then? You want to say bye. Pull him up. Put him on camera so you can see. So I can get rid of it. Say bye-bye. You ain't gonna say bye-bye. All right, y'all. So we gone tonight. So let's go and tuck the baby in. So look, we meant to jump on for 20 minutes, and I promised my wife we was gonna talk 20 minutes, but y'all started asking questions, so it just became an hour. So I appreciate everybody that tuned in and asked questions, and I appreciate, just viewing it. If you feel like, there's a couple out there that needs to hear some of this, then tag them.
Share it. Yep.
Share it, tag them. Don't be kind of like aggressive with the tag, because then they're gonna be like, what you trying to say? But they need to understand that if you're trying to say something, you're trying to say something, and they need to listen. We need to get out of that. We need to just say, you know what? Help me, help myself. It's just help, you guys. But y'all have a good night.
Bye.